We're back to the Neil Haley Show here on the Total Celebrity segment, and also the Media Giant Effect. I'm with my co-host Kim Sorrell, author of Love Is. Kim, how are you? This guy I'm just a huge fan of because of Flash Gordon. Because again, I watched that movie maybe 20 or 30 times and growing up, and I'm going to ask him a few of those questions throughout this conversation. But I first want to welcome my co-host Kim. How are you?
I'm doing great, Neil. I know that you have been so excited about this and that you cannot wait to talk to Sam. I've been pretty excited too, as not just a Flash Gordon fan, but a fan of all of his work.
All right, well, fantastic. So introduce Sam for us.
Great. Sam, welcome to the show. So glad that you are here. You've done so much. It astounds me that the very first thing I believe you did was the movie 10.
Yes.
And it was a #1 box seller, right? The very first weekend that it opened, that had to be an incredible experience right out of the gate. And then you've done so many things since then. You're a father, you're a grandfather. Sounds like those are a couple of things that you're very proud of. And Flash Gordon, of course, you will forever and ever be Flash Gordon. So Sam, thank you for being here. We're excited to talk about An Unlikely Angel, also your newest thing. And thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Yep, I got to play my first granddad, grandpapa. And obviously in real life, I'm a dad and a father of 5 and granddad of 6. So it's wonderful. And it was a great opportunity when they reached out to me to do this movie. Gerald Nelson directed it. Rebecca Nelson wrote it. And they've been doing a lot of projects together for a long time. And I played the dad quite a few times, and now both. Now it's the dad and the grandfather. And Jillian Murray, who played my daughter, did a wonderful job. And I love the story. It's something that we all deal with on a daily basis. When we watch the film, by the way, it's on PureFlix, and when we watch it, it'll have us sort of self-evaluating our own lives, prioritizing, what is important. Of course, all of us have to work. That's what we're doing now. We have to provide. And how do we manage that? How do we manage that when we have not just children, but young children, and being able to spend quality time with them? So that's part of the story. And it's, yes, it's a huge challenge for all of us.
It's always a challenge of balancing things. And how did you do that in your career as an actor? Were you able to do it? Were you good at it from the start, or did it take time to understand?
Well, let me see. My first child didn't come in until, my oldest is almost 40. So I've been in the industry 45 years. Yeah, I mean, what I did, what's crazy, out of all the work I've done in 45 years, I've only seen half of my work. I know it sounds crazy, but it came down to what we're talking about right now. It's okay, kids, we're going to stay home and we're going to watch my shows on TV. But Dad, what about taking me to dance? Dad, what about taking me to baseball? So we make these choices. And so when some of the fans hear that I've only seen half my work, they'll send me some of my older movies that were on 3/4 or VHS, but it's now transitioned over to digital or DVD. So that's kind of cool.
That's pretty fun. Yeah, I found the same thing though. It is really tough when you have kids and to try to make that balance happen when you're working and you're trying to build something. It's not like you're necessarily established when you're having small children. And one thing that I have found as my children have grown is they're very, very good as adults at letting me know all the things that I did wrong. I don't know.
Well, it's true. I mean, we aren't perfect. We can sit there and point fingers and blame others. Well, it's the pressure of the business. It's there's a funny incorrect statement that started in Hollywood. I don't know who started it, but man, it just went like wildfire. And the statement was always that the film industry is unpredictable. I disagree. completely. The film industry is predictable that it will always be inconsistent. Okay? It's true. It will always be inconsistent. So what are we prepared to do about that? Are we going to stick to a label and say, well, I'm just an actor, I'm just a reporter, I'm just a physicist, I'm just a truck driver? Are we going to change that label and say, wait a minute, I'm a working man, I'm a working woman, I'm going to do anything in my power to provide, as long as it's legal. Let's just, let's just address that. I'm going to do anything I can to be a working person. And I had that revelation. Thank God. My wife was very instrumental in encouraging me. And I had that revelation, that light bulb moment just over 20 years ago, when the film industry sort of, for me, slowed down a little bit.
And that it slowed down for you a little bit in that process. Like when you said when you're raising kids and stuff like that, how did you balance, like when you were on set all the time and being able to see them and things like that when you're?
Well, they understood when we're on set, we're working, it's work, it's a work environment, and they understood that. Now, when my second series I did was 1988. So my youngest son, which is almost 40, he would have been 4 or 5. I can't do the math right now. And I would fly him in, a lot of times. He'd fly in with the crew, or, with one of the secretaries or something like that, one of the production people. And we were in Arizona. So I'd fly him in, and he would be part of that as a youngster. And of course, we would have a tutor on the set if he was in kindergarten or first grade. Do that. But yeah, I mean, the kids have always known that it's work. It's the choices we make at that point, as parents, as adults. Where do we stop it? Where does it end? Meaning, okay, we've wrapped for the day. Okay, the shooting schedule, the filming is over. So what do we do at that point? Do we continue to go out and party? They're going to go party or go out to some place. And if we have children, of course, we have to make those choices. So, yeah.
What was that transition like for you, though, to go from set to home? Like, when you're on set, you must be all in.
Well, you have to be. I mean, I learned in the early years from Max von Sydow on Flash Gordon and people like Brian Blessed, who would set the example, and they were very clear. And a lot of times they didn't have to say anything. You just observe. And that's something we need to do in any industry we're in. I don't care what it is. We need to show up on time, and on time means anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes early, by the way. And we need to show up prepared, not just, okay, I think I got it. We need to be better prepared than anybody else. And we need to be excellent listeners. That's the key thing that I learned in the very beginning with that. And then once it's over, especially if you're on location, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, it's easier if you're filming in the area where you live and you actually go to your home each night. But if you're on location, you either go back to your hotel room or whatever it is, an apartment sometimes if you're. But yeah, it's prioritizing. It's it's funny, but I think if we just keep it simple, this is my new motto. I don't know what you want to call it. It's no great mystery. I don't know why, especially we as men, Neil, why it takes us years to figure this out, but we need to oversimplify. We really do.
Okay.
Common sense, practical thinking, and just keep it simple. There's no great mystery here. Prioritize, especially when it comes to family.
And that's important. This film is that showing that, right? Tell me more of the premise of the film.
Yeah, An Unlikely Angel on Pureflix. Really, it's about my daughter, again, played by Jillian Murray, and she's wonderful, and she's faced with all this. In her work, she's in a senior level leadership position, and so she has a lot more responsibility. And then, of course, young child. But and a lot of times, if we don't get it, if we don't see the big picture in front of us, then And it's good to pray, and we should always pray, but sometimes if we're not looking for that divine intervention, then the good Lord has a way of doing things. Sometimes he'll just on his own, he'll implement that divine intervention. And a lot of times it may not be pretty. The divine intervention itself might have some incredible challenges. So this is sort of a shocking twist. And there's some, even though it's faith-based, there's some really good surprise. I shouldn't use the word shocking, but really big surprise twists with divine intervention, et cetera, et cetera. And again, as we watch it, we can relate. We can say, wait a minute, I need to maybe reevaluate my choices and my thinking. So yeah, it's wonderful.
It's interesting to me, that it is faith-based. And I read that when you go to like a Comic-Con, I don't know if you're still doing that, but when you show up and thrill the fans and sign some Flash Gordon pictures and whatever, that if someone comes to you that is facing cancer or facing something, you don't just say, I'm sorry, and send them on their way, but you do more than that.
Well, this is the platform. We all have our platform, right? And I don't, the Bible, especially the Old Testament, is very clear. I'm an old Proverbs guy, from the Old Testament. And why? See, in my mind, I've been a Marine in my mind still for 50 years. I've only been an actor for 45 years. So Proverbs for me, I like to hear you tell me, especially if I'm up for a part. I'd rather you tell me, no, Sam, we don't want you. But don't put me in a pending mode for days, weeks, months. Just say, no, we don't want you. We're going to move on. I say, great, thank you for letting me know. So with that said, Proverbs there's no gray area. If you make these choices today, you are a wise person. However, if you make these choices today, you're really acting like a fool. So I need to hear that. And with my choices in the film industry and everything else, I apply it that way. I think I got off on a little rabbit trail right there. My wife says,
so what you're saying about Proverbs, what is you?
But no, specifically with your question, dear. My wife says, watch the rabbit trails. I know you're trying to give teachable moments, but you got to be careful to make sure you stick to the script on exactly what so the specific question you asked me in regards to that, applying it towards the film industry, what was the specific question?
Like when you're signing autographs and somebody comes to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there's the platform. Okay. So, and I always ask people when they come up to me, how you doing? And it's funny how we're not good listeners, especially when we're walking by somebody. But when they come up to the table, I always ask them, how you doing? They go, great, fantastic. Great to see you, Sam. And also it's their opportunity. I let them know to tell me your story. But sometimes I'll get, like you just said, Morgan, you said, I say, how you doing? And the person says, well, not too good. I said, well, what's up? Now, remember the line is behind them about another 20 feet. So they're at my table. It's one-on-one. We're talking low. We're not broadcasting anything. And they'll say, I said, well, what's going on with this? They said, well, I'm fighting stage 4 cancer. So what should my reply be at that point? As you said, should I say, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that? Now, would that be the autograph or the selfie, or will it be the combo? Will it be the combo pack? I mean, come on. This is it. And I've really come up with this saying now, which has been around for years, but if not me, then who? If not you, then who? This is the opportune time. It's funny how our brain works. We'll say, well, this is kind of an uncomfortable situation and, somebody else would take care of them. No, this is it. This may never happen again. So I'll just grab their hand. I don't even ask them. And I know it's kind of crazy to even think that, but I don't do some big thing. I'll just grab their hand and say, come here. I want you to be in agreement with me right now. and I'll just say a prayer. I'll take authority. It may take 5 seconds. It may take 10 seconds, probably no more than that. But I address the situation, not on my power, not on their power, which they've been fighting for a long time, because I've been there. And I'll ask the Lord to come in and that we present this to him, and that we're in agreement for total healing and good. And they've been wanting to share this with somebody, especially somebody that is, they're me, or the character that I played was their hero growing up. And now at my table, I'll get all the generations. I'll get grandfather, son, grandson, grandmother, daughter, granddaughter, and it's wonderful. But this is our platform, and there's nothing to do with politically correct or politically incorrect. This has nothing to do with politics. This has to do with somebody is hurting right now, and we are put in a position to address it in a very low profile but powerful way, in asking God to come in and divine intervention on their behalf.
I think that's amazing that you use your status as a celebrity to help others and bring the message. And that's so important. When you talk about what message would you want to give Flash Gordon fans, because I don't know what was the reason I was so hooked by that film, watching it over and over again in different scenes and different ways, and how it took off. But what message you want to give Flash Gordon fans right now that, they're saying, well, where is Sam Jones? I didn't know where he was. Oh, wow. And now, going in this, on my celebrity platform with the number 12 celebrity podcast in the world, according to FeedSpot, and other places saying, oh, that's Sam Jones. What message you want to give to Flash Gordon fans?
Well, Neil, that I'm on your show. Okay. That's where I am right now. I'm on your show. But the cool thing about Flash Gordon, and that's other than an unlikely angel here on PureFlix, our brand new film, it's primarily, you brought me on because of Flash Gordon. And I call it the triple blessing. Why is it the triple blessing? Well, number one, when we do things in life, no matter what industry, the first blessing is getting hired. Second blessing is whatever we do, if the project does well, if we do well. And what we're talking about right now, after all these years, longevity. Longevity is the triple blessing. Well, why has Flash Gordon lasted so long? I think it has to do with he's just a guy, okay? He's one of the few superheroes who does not have superpowers.
Right.
His character in the movie, he's the quarterback for the New York Jets. He's an athlete. Again, he doesn't have any superpower. So what does that mean for all of us? I'm a common man, the common woman. What does that mean? It means, oh my gosh, if this guy can do it, he's not flying around, he doesn't have super strength. Well, by golly, if he can do it, then I can do that. And that's the message. And that's why I believe the international world really relates to Flash Gordon.
That's a great
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And even bringing it back to what you were saying about when you pray with somebody or whatever, it comes down to humanity. People are people all over the world. We're all in it for the same thing. We're all here. We should all be here to help each other. And I love too what you say about listening, because what a difference it makes when you really actually listen to what somebody has to say, instead of assuming what they're going to say based on their politics or where they live or whatever, but to take people as individuals and really listen to them really makes a difference in life.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of times walking down the street, I'll say, how you doing to somebody? I remember over the years, how many times I say, how you doing? Usually everybody goes, good. How you doing? Good. And then a couple of times over the years, I didn't address it because I thought, well, maybe he didn't say that, because when when guys are walking by each other, they pass. So I asked that guy, how's he doing? Did he just say not too good? No, he couldn't have said that, but he kept walking, but he did say that. He did say, I'm not doing good. And again, we just brush it off. He's what, 20, 30 yards away. While I'm thinking about it, I went, somebody else would take care of that. No, it's there's the time right there.
Exactly. Now, Kim has a question regarding her book she wrote, Love Is. Go ahead, Kim, with that question.
Yeah. So Sam, I took a year to really search and figure out what love really is, because it seems to be this mystery, but yet God is love. So, what does it mean then to be love? It apparently is something that you are. And the things that I found out just kind of blew my mind. And there are so many things about love that I never knew before. And I'm just wondering, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma. I
Wow.
lost my husband a few years ago, so I'm no
Oh,
longer a
sorry.
wife,
Wow.
but I was a good one. I was a good wife when I had the opportunity to be one, and he was a great guy. But thinking about love and what it's meant in your life and what it means in your life now compared to maybe 30 years ago, have things changed?
Oh yeah, because I'm a work in progress. I think for us guys, it's about getting over ourselves. Okay, so yeah, when I started to learn, as my wife was very instrumental in the early years, she said, "Yeah, you need to get over yourself." Yeah, I think that's the big obstacle. I'll give you an example. I think 7 years into our marriage, I went to my pastor and I said, my wife's getting on my nerves. I don't have the same feelings for her. Actually, I'm thinking about getting a divorce. And he said to me, and he took the Bible out. Again, what you're talking about right now, what is our foundation? Okay, we talk about love. What is our foundation? Where are we getting this from? What's our doctrine in life? So my foundation has always been, what does God have to say about this? So my pastor was so cool. He didn't get religious on me. Matter of fact, if you have a religious pastor in your life, don't walk away, run as fast as you can. Okay. He should be real and should be talking like this. Anyway, he put the Bible on the desk. He said, show me in the word, where we have to base our decisions on how we feel. And he astounded me. I said, feel. Matter of fact, shock a lot of people, but the word is very clear. Following your heart is not only wrong, it's foolish. And some translations call it stupid. Okay, I'm not making this up. This is not my doctrine. So he said to me, he said, do me a favor. And I heard what you said about your wife. Okay, I got that. I hear that 100 times. Okay. He says, I've even thought of that, even as a pastor. He said, but do me a favor. You may not feel like loving her right now. And this is the long question, but the long answer. But here's the meat of the answer. He said, do me a favor. You may not feel like loving her, but for the next 7 days to 14 days, just serve her needs, no matter what it is, serve her. And he said, if you just serve her with a pure heart, without, gritting your teeth and all this, then you will, I guarantee you will fall in love with her all over again. And I did that, man. It's great. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. And this magical, and he forgot to tell me one important thing, but he knew what he was talking about because he knew it would happen. The magical thing that happens when we put others first before ourselves is, oh my gosh, we usually get anything we want, anytime we want, when we put their needs first. It's remarkable. Isn't that remarkable? But we're so, me. Now, in those years, my wife would have done anything I'd asked, but she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it with joy, when us guys do this and we demand you got to do this now. You got to send that, back then when before I learned to type, emails, you got to send this email for me now. You got to do this now. Well, our wives are going to do it. But again, we diminish them. We diminish them and we steal their joy. So yeah, in love, and that's love, if we just serve the other person's needs, no matter if we want to or not, magic. So spiritual magic from the good Lord happens, and it's happened every time.
All right, and that's fantastic. And Sam, the movie now is available on PureFlix. Everyone can check it out.
PureFlix, Unlikely Angel, it's there.
All right. And we appreciate it, Sam. Where can people follow you? Are you on social media for all those?
Yeah, I'm all that social media. Oh my gosh. Do you have it there? Here, let me see. I got it right here. And Kim, I'm sorry I called you Morgan. And by the way, I need a copy of your book. So make sure you do this.
We'll definitely do that before the interviews, after the interview's over. But where can we follow you? Probably find Sam Jones anywhere, right? On
Yeah, I'm
social
going to
media.
give it to you right now.
All right.
You don't mind. Okay, here it is right here. Well, Facebook is Sam Jones.
Okay.
Right? Twitter is @real Sam J Jones, @real Sam J Jones, and Instagram is the Sam J Jones.
All right. We appreciate it, Sam. Such great information. You definitely put your ego to zero in so many ways, and that's what's important, to be able to serve others and help others. So we appreciate you coming on, and Flash Gordon, everyone, all Flash Gordon fans are so glad to hear what you're doing now. So take care. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.